That are lots of little elves behind her. So.
Well, I go down, you know, because my main employer, I work for WRAL in Raleigh, and that's my full-time job. I'm their documentary producer, but I do, you know, they let me do a lot of my work from home, so I'm able to work from home, and then I go in occasionally for meetings or for shoots or whatever, and so I go down 264 a couple times a week usually. And I never realized these restaurants are down here, so
We're good, Mr. Clay.
Are we?
Yeah.
Okay, Todd, just state your name and spell it for me and your title with the organization that you're with that is involved in this.
My name's Todd Edwards. It's Toddedwards, and I am one of the 4 members of the Farmville group. And we are a local economic development volunteer group. It's now gone well beyond the 4 of us, but we've been meeting for about 5 years and helped develop this space.
So just give me a little description of Farmville. Just kind of paint a picture for me.
Well, it's Farmville is about 5,000 people. Has been there for years now. It stayed very steady. Our history is a tobacco town. Farmville was founded in 1872 and spent most of its life as a tobacco town. And as that economic situation changed, we're now changing with it. We still have a strong industrial base, a lot of jobs here in town, but we're kind of growing into kind of that bedroom community for Greenville. And so we're evolving at the moment, but we're strong and doing well, which is good. So.
What have been the economic challenges for Farmville, particularly in this downtown area, do you think?
Well, finding an identity, maintaining an identity. You know, as the whole world has changed, you know, e-commerce, big box stores just a few miles away, all of that. Just you name the decade and time, and it seems like every decade there's a new challenge for traditional downtowns. And we were, for a town of 5,000 people, we've never been more than 5,000. We have a fairly large downtown, a lot of retail space, traditional retail space. And so just one is the building owner seeing a value in keeping those properties up, because at one point in time there was not a lot of demand for the properties. And then 2, because when we would have renters come along, a lot of times you wouldn't have a building that was suitable to rent. And so that fine line of, can I put money into this building that I'm probably not going to rent for a lot? And so that was a challenge years ago. It's quickly becoming not an issue anymore. People are realizing they can fix the buildings up and get a decent return on the investment.
So where do you...
Todd, sorry. It's just, I mean, here it really echoes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I'm sorry.
That's right.
Sorry, Todd.
So what are you trying to do with the Glastation?
Well, originally we came together 5 years ago, and our goal set was that we were doing okay. We were holding our own, but we certainly weren't flourishing, and we wanted to thrive. And we sat down, we started meeting every Tuesday night for an hour and a half, and initially for the first year just discussed how can we thrive. And we promoted a positive attitude. We did all sorts of things, you know, letter writing campaigns, some ads in the paper, just trying to get people on the same page and promote a positive attitude. About a year into it, we turned and said, okay, what do we need to do to really lead this? And we decided we were going to lead with the arts. And so one of our group members, Randy Walters, had a fairly close relationship with Dr. Chris Butto, the Dean of the College of Fine Arts over at ECU, and said, you know, let me reach out to him and see what he says. And our initial thought was that we were going to try to raise money and provide an inexpensive incubator space for young artists to come and try to become professional artists and to develop a marketplace. We've got a fairly strong retail base here, a home furnishings retail base here in Farmville, and thought that nestled in the middle of that might be a nice place to launch some careers. And we worked on that for about 6 or 7 months and found a building, decided we could get the money together to do that. And Dr. Butto, and then at that point, the visual arts director, Michael Drought, came to us one day. They said, you guys have been really easy to work with. Do you think we can stretch this dream a little bit? You know, we don't want to set that aside, but the real draw could be glass blowing, and we've wanted to do a program for probably 10 years now. And they said, do you think we could stretch this and maybe do a glass blowing program? Well, that meant a new building. It meant a much larger investment, but we said yes. And we're not sure we knew what we were getting into at the moment, but we said yes and pursued that. It really took us about 2 years to get that, really pulled together, but here we are. And it's grown from there. I mean, it really has.
So you partnered with ECU to
Absolutely,
make this happen.
yes.
What is the purpose of the Glastation exactly?
Well, it's a teaching platform. As far as ECU is concerned, they've signed agreements with Pitt Community College. They are teaching East Carolina University and Pitt Community College classes. My understanding there'll be some graduate programs in the near future, once they get that pipeline of talent kind of developed through their undergrad programs. So they're teaching classes over here. They are also teaching classes for the public to help develop that interest. But from our standpoint, it's a draw. It's as you'll see, possibly later tonight with the demonstration, it draws people. We suddenly have tourism here in Farmville. Already had a little bit with Duck Rabbit Brewery. It's a big regional and even statewide draw. But now there's some other things to do. And so we get a lot of people coming to the demonstrations. A lot of people come by during the week and just want to see where the Glastation is and see the glass art. And it's really fascinating to watch. And so we get a lot of, we get a travel and tourism bump out of it. We certainly get a lot of interest from a lot of other businesses. Our total outlook in downtown as far as people fixing up buildings, as far as other retail, other folks, other creative people wanting to come and be in downtown, they all tend to want to be, one of the first questions is, if they're looking at a building, well, how far is it from the Glastation? It really has been a major center of activity for our town.
So it sounds like it's kind of a catalyst for what you're trying to do for the downtown.
Absolutely. It was the catalyst we were looking for. And didn't know quite what that was going to be when we first started that relationship with ECU. And it's something that had to evolve. But now that we've got that as a center, I mean, even in this building we're sitting in, it went from being just the Glastation to we now have another maker space in a space just behind us. This is, as of January, going to where we're sitting now is going to be an event center for the community. We have an innovation lab planned for the 7,000 square feet next door that we're also working with ECU on. We're working with multiple colleges at ECU on that, but primarily the Honors College over there. And so it's exploded on us, and it goes way beyond this cluster of buildings. It just everything has stepped up. I think for a town our size in Eastern North Carolina, to have an association and affiliation with ECU on such a kind of a grand scale for us, it just brought us to another level. It really did. So,
tell me about the building that houses the Glastation.
Yes, that building and the building we're in, the Eason brothers came back from World War II. They started a Gulf gas station in 1946, and that's where the actual Glastation is. The building we're sitting in was Eason's Chrysler. They built it in 1947. And this building houses the event center and another makerspace for the College of Fine Arts in the back of this building. And so this was an entrepreneurial effort for a couple of brothers coming back from World War II. Came back home and decided to go in the automotive business. And buildings have been the Gulf dealership has been empty since about the mid-'60s. It really is. It was not in great shape, and we had to do a lot of work to that, as well as this one. This one had some other tenants, right up until the point we decided to renovate it, but they weren't. It was not in the best of shape either. But.
Any particular reason you wanted the Glastation to be in the old gas station building?
It just felt right. The building we had looked at was a local family considering giving that building, and we were thrilled that they were. We'd formed a nonprofit, and they were going to donate the building. But when we decided it was going to switch from, an art incubator space to a glass station, you'll see in a moment the equipment is very intense. It was not a building that was well suited for that. So we started walking around town and we all said, hey, let's do this. We started walking around town, and I remember the day. It was a beautiful sunny day, and Michael Trout, the visual arts director, turned the corner and he said, that's it, and he pointed at this building. And we kind of had this in mind, but we were thinking, of course, you know, it was home to quite a few pigeons here in town. It wasn't in the best of shape, but he immediately, we kind of thought it would be a good building for it, and he literally turned the corner in the first 3 seconds and said, that's it. And fortunately, we approached another family, Allen and Stowe families here in town owned the building. We told them what we were interested in doing, and within a matter of hours, they said, we want to give you the building. You know, and that's the kind of town Farmville is. I mean, people came forward when we really got this energy around making this happen. And it took years for it to unfold. People just kept coming forward at every turn saying, let me help with that, let me do this. And the Allen and Stowe families, you know, they very quickly kicked this off and said, and then the adjacent building here, the same family that was going to give us the original building to do the art incubator space has now donated the adjacent building here that's going to be the innovation lab. And so that's the Monk family here in town. So we've had just so many folks just come forth and say they want to be a part of it, and they continue to.
So when y'all saw that building and the visual arts director said that's it, how soon after that did someone say the Glastation?
I think Dr. Botto came up with that one. It was not. We just called it the glass blowing facility or something for quite a few months. It made sense. I mean, the second he said it, I think it just, we all said that's it. But I think Dr. Butto did. They bought their equipment in Star, North Carolina, at Wet Dog Glass there. That's a company that produces glass blowing equipment in Star. And I've not been to the facility, but I hear it's fascinating. And he went up there with a group to actually learn how to blow glass and look at equipment. And he came back from that, and I think he was really into it and inspired. And I think he was the first one that started calling it the Glastation. So,
okay.
Which was a great idea. I mean,
what do you think it's going to mean for the future of downtown Farmville?
Well, I mean, to me, the future's now. I mean, we have a bakery opening in the spring. We've got folks looking at doing boutique hotels. We have, a month ago, we had a little small boutique open up. We've got another one opening up in November. We've had, even from the day we just kind of the word got out that this was going to happen, we've had businesses come. When we started this effort, we had about somewhere between 25 and 30 underutilized or empty buildings in downtown Farmville. We will probably end 2018 with half that number or less, and buildings are being bought rapidly. We've got actually, developers from out of town coming over and buying buildings and shopping for buildings, and it's given us a sense. It's given the folks, the business people that are here, the folks that are looking at coming. It's given folks a sense of confidence, and we're not there yet, but the momentum is building. And you can feel the change. It's palpable. So.
Great. Thanks, Todd. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Tell people she wakes up in the morning like she just got shocked with a car battery. Right.
Things to do.
Gotta go. you say the checkerboard building is?
I heard so many things.
Okay, Mike, just state and spell your name and give me your title as it relates to this topic that we're doing.
All right, it's Michael Tracy, Michael, Tracy, Tracy, and I'm an adjunct instructor at East Carolina University.
Okay. And why did you take up glass blowing?
Well, I kind of fell into it. I was an art student at University of Texas in Arlington. I was majoring in drawing, and they had an outstanding glass program there. And I was familiar with glass blowing. Growing up in Virginia Beach, Virginia, I'd seen it at Jamestown and other places as well. And I'm like, I gotta try this out. This looks outstanding. And so I just took it to fulfill a 3D elective requirement that I had to do, and I got instantly hooked. I became totally and utterly addicted to it, and I ended up practically living in that studio for the next 3 years.
Is that plane bothering you?
Good golly.
Is the airport close
Right
by?
there?
It's a little low.
I've never saw a plane the whole time I've been
Did you?
there. Let it go a little bit.
You just let me know when you're ready.
Let's do it.
Okay. Why did you get hooked in it? What did you like about it so much that caused you to become hooked, as you said?
Well, I'm not exactly sure, to be perfectly honest. I think, in a sense, it's almost like the action movies of art processes, because you're dealing with fire, heat, you're having to fight gravity the entire time while you're working, because you have to rotate that pipe to keep the piece on center. I think some of it, too, just comes to growing up around Jamestown and Williamsburg. I would see all the craftsmen at those locations doing their various trades, and I kind of got enamored to these old world crafts idea, and being able to blow glass, even though I try to participate in contemporary art, being able to do that same craft process that's been done for 2,000 years kind of has an appeal to me.
Tell me, I know we're going to see your demonstration, but just in a nutshell, how do you blow glass?
Well, it all starts with melting glass. We have a furnace that is on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, that melts the glass for us. Inside there's a crucible that holds about 400 pounds of glass when it's full. It's on at 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. First, we take a hollow pipe called a blow pipe. We gather a little bit of glass on the end, we shape it a little bit, and then we blow, and that forms a bubble. Now, we'll probably need more glass than that initial gather, so we'll let it cool down and we'll go and get more gathers of glass until we have the amount of glass we need. And then it's just a combination of shaping the glass that we have on the end of the pipe, blowing it to make that bubble bigger, getting it hot or cool where we want it. That bubble's going to expand wherever it's the hottest, so a good percentage of what we're doing is actually just controlling the heat, getting that heat profile just right. That's basically it. There is a process part in there called punting, where we can only make the piece about halfway attached to the blowpipe. So we have to attach another rod to what will become the bottom of the piece, and we call that a punty rod. And we break it off the blowpipe and we flip it around and we work the top half.
And you described, I love the way you described it in terms of art as the action movie of arts. And what do you personally get out of it when you do it?
It'd be easy to say just, immense satisfaction. People sometimes ask me, like, what are my favorite pieces or what are my favorite pieces to make? Unfortunately, the answers there are different. My favorite pieces to make are not my favorite pieces I have. My favorite pieces to make are just vessels, making vases. But that's the thing, I'm enamored with the process of making those pieces. After I'm done with the pieces, I have no personal connection to them whatsoever. In a sense, I think for me, glassblowing's almost become my exercise. And you know how some people will talk about how they get a high when they do exercise or strength training or something like that. I get the same thing. When I get in there and I'm working, it's just I get into this zone where it's like the rest of the world doesn't matter. I don't care what problems I have. All that matters is me and this piece I'm making, and it is wonderful.
And let's talk about some of what can you make glass blowing?
Oh.
What are the product? Wait, hang on, that car's a truck. Okay, so what are the things that you can make?
Oh, anything. I learned in the contemporary artistic set, so it's not about, vessel making. It's about let's make a piece that says something, basically treating glass the same way that you would treat painting or drawing or ceramics or metalworking, We're making contemporary artwork. But we can also make vessels. We can make bowls. We can make vases. We can make cups. If you can think of it, there's probably a way to make it. Glass is a very flexible material.
You teach classes here.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to someone to encourage them to come and learn how to blow glass?
Well, my usual expression is, come do the most awesome thing you can possibly ever do. One thing is that, glass, one thing that fascinates me about it is that it is both a precious and a mundane material at the same time. Thanks to mass production, it has become extremely mundane. We can go to Walmart and buy a set of 6 drinking glasses for $20. But I think it's important for people to understand how these things used to be made. And I think there's a lot of personal satisfaction that you can get by making something yourself. Drinking out of a glass from Walmart, that doesn't usually mean much to people, but drinking out of a glass, even if it's lumpy, it's crooked and all that means a lot. People have asked me, what is your favorite piece? And I have to pull out this lumpy glass. It was my first piece I ever made, and it is still to this day my favorite piece. Also, it's the hardest piece I ever made.
Oh, really? Do you have it here?
No, I don't have it at home, unfortunately.
Okay. All right, that's great. That's all I had. Did you have anything else you wanted to say or mention?
Oh, no, I don't think so.
All right, good job, Mike. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Almost done. Okay. Get my keys.
We're pretty much wrapped up with the interviews. We are wrapped up with the interviews. Bob's just getting a couple shots of the building, and then just a few more minutes, actually. What's the name of the Mexican restaurant? Okay. All right.
when we're working. It takes about 30, 45 minutes to heat up. Oh, how's that thing doing? I haven't checked it. Oh, it's fine. It's front heavy. I had to counterweight it. I would almost like to figure a way to make it so this can extend out. Actually, the issue is that one needs to be I don't know. Glue? Yeah, but then when we move it over, we wouldn't have a... I'm going to turn it up. Should I turn it up a hair? We'll probably use her to look too.
Probably very simple.
Hey everybody, we're about to get started. We're actually a few minutes late already. So if you want to come take a seat, coming out to ECU's Glastation, I'm Mike Tracy, I'm the instructor here. This is Dennis Fish, he lives here in Farmville and he helps out here at the studio with the demonstrations, also works for ECU helping with the continuing ed classes. So tonight we're going to make a piece from start to finish, but I want to begin by giving you a quick verbal tour of the studio. So who's been here before? About half. Excellent, I always like having first timers here. So, who's been in a glass studio before? About half. Alright. So I want to kind of go over the equipment that we use with you guys real quick. This here is the heart and soul of any hot glass studio. This is our glass furnace. This thing runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And inside there we melt clear glass. It's on at 2,100 degrees, 2,100 degrees Fahrenheit. So inside there is a really big ceramic bowl called a crucible that we actually melt the glass in. And you can see it's quite toasty. Although in weather like this, it's actually quite nice. Okay, that was a little hot. I have no arm hair now. All right. So you'll see me using that in a moment. The next thing here, this is kind of our combo unit. It's a little 3-in-1 thing. Down here, we have what we call the pipe warmer. So those of you on the right can probably see there's a flame shooting across the pipes that we're going to be using. So glass doesn't stick to cold metal. So we put them in there to preheat the tips so they're ready to go in a moment's notice. Otherwise, we'd have to stop what we're doing, preheat a pipe, and sometimes we don't have time for that. Above that, we're actually using it tonight, is called a garage. There's a flame that is in the back left corner. You can't really see it. But when this is on, the right side is around 950 degrees, and the left side is around 1100 degrees. And we use it to park pieces, hence the name garage, so that they can stay warm without cracking, and then we can preheat them a little hotter so they're ready to use. Tonight I already have a pre-made piece that we're going to be using tonight. This here, this is just an electric kiln, we're not using it tonight. This is for preheating color bars. So this here is basically a standard work area. We have a bench that we'll actually sit at work. We have a tool bench with all our tools ready to go. This here is a reheating furnace. We call them glory holes. I didn't make up the name. That's just what the Western world calls them. This is only on demand. With the exception of the furnace, everything else is only turned on when we're going to be working. So this is also at the same temperature as the furnace, 2,100 degrees. And it comes with all sorts of accessories. A rolling yoke that will rest the pipes on when we're reheating the piece. A nice little shield that we can hide behind because it gets hot. And even a little view window. This has a number 5 welding shade on it. It cuts down a lot of the brightness. I wear tinted shades, so I don't need them. And this here is the steel table. It's actually a tool. It's called a marver. And I'll talk a little bit more about that when I actually get to using it. And the last piece of equipment I want to talk about are those 2 big boxes against the back wall. Those are both electric kilns. The top one with the green sign on it is currently on at 900 degrees. So below 1,000 degrees, glass is very sensitive to temperature changes. It has to cool down very slowly or else it will crack. So when we're done with this piece for today completely, we'll run a program on the controller on it that will slowly cool it down over a 16 to 24 hour period. That way it won't crack, and it also makes it so every day when we open the kiln, it's like Christmas. Seriously, after 11 years of this, I have not gotten tired of opening a kiln to see what we made.
That's where the goodies are.
All right, so before we get going on the piece, I want to go ahead and pull some glass out so you can see the material we're working with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a solid pipe. You can see it's glowing on the end. We call these punty rods. And I'm just going to go into the furnace and dip into the glass, rotate a few times, come out. There we go. So you can see at that temperature, glass is very fluid. So I have to keep rotating this pipe in order to keep it on center. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to roll it into a little cylindrical shape. Grab a tool off my bench. And now, I just wanted to pull a little string out, but if I handed that off to Dennis there and got him running through the garage door, he probably could have gotten a good 100 feet before it froze up. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? I lost it. I'll have to get that one. Thank you, sir. So when it's that thin, it cools off real quickly. What I wanted to show you was just that when glass is really thin, you guys see that? It actually is flexible. That was something that always amazed me. I always thought of glass as this really fragile material. You drop it, it's going to break. But it actually has some flexibility to it. And this is also, in a sense, a crude fiber optic. They use specialized glasses for fiber optics. All right. One more quick demo. So this time, I'm grabbing a hollow pipe. So it's hollow throughout. It's got an opening on the end there, and it's got a mouthpiece here that I'll blow through. So I'm going to go gather again. And I'm going to do the same thing you just saw me do. Got more glass because it's a bigger diameter pipe. I'm going to roll on the table, get it into a nice symmetrical shape. And I'm going to blow some air into it, and I'm going to cap the pipe while I'm blowing. The air that I blew in there will be, there it goes. That was fast. The heat from the glass expands the air I blew into there and blew that bubble out for me. I still got a lot of heat there, so I'm going to see how big I can blow this. All right, got a nice little chili pepper shape. Aha, got all over the place. Thank you, sir. Whoop. That one will do. That's a little bit. So, just like that little strand I pulled, when you blow it out that thin, it has quite a, well, that one broke. I ruined it! The demo's ruined! No, it has quite a bit of flexibility to it. I could have actually blown this even thinner if the glass was a little hotter, and it could have gotten about the thickness of cellophane wrap. There's not really much use for glass when it's that thin, unfortunately, but it's cool, I think. All right, so tonight what we're going to do is we're going to be making a big bowl, but I'm going to be using this technique called, or doing what's called an encalmo. I've seen that spelled with both an I and an E, so E-N-C-A-L-M-O or I-N-C-A-L-M-O. What that is joining up two separate cups of glass together to make the bubble. What it allows us to do is to get distinct color patterns on the top and the bottom. There's some samples on the table that you might have seen. There's a white bowl with a green top. That was done by this method. We already made the one cup we're going to join together. So right now we're going to make the other side on a blowpipe. Hey Dennis, can you grab a nat gas torch and bring it over? I forgot to bring one. So I'm going to start the same way you just saw and gather some glass out of the furnace. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to double dip. Yes. I want a little more glass than one gather would give me. So we only melt clear glass in our furnace. And the way we get color is we buy pre-made color glasses from various companies that make them. This stuff comes from a company in Germany. And the color glass is compatible with the clear glass we melt. And we divide them various consistencies. So we bought, what I'm using today is called Frit. It's just crushed up white glass. You can also get it all the way down to powders or in solid rods that I mentioned before. Dennis, do you want to go ahead and open the hot side? to move that guy over. There. So I just want a little bit of white on this piece. So what I did, I just did one gather of white. I'm melting the white chunks of glass in, but now I'm going to twist it up. Basically what I'm doing is I'm letting it lag on itself, and it starts, whoa, about to drop it, and it starts twisting. That's going to give me a very nice swirly effect. So I mentioned the glass being compatible. Glass is very touchy. It's very choosy about who it's friends with. You can't just combine any two glasses. So I couldn't just crush up bottles and combine it with the glass from our furnace. There's a little more to it than what I'm about to say, but the short form of it is that their expansion rates are different. So as the pieces are cooling, one glass will contract more than the other, which will cause stress and will cause the pieces to break. So you have to make sure that the glasses you are using are compatible with each other. All right, so I got a lot of swirls in there. Hope you noticed the container we're using, a very specialized glass-specific container for holding a fridge. Any resemblance to a stainless steel gravy boat is completely coincidental. So I got all my nice color swirls in there. I'm just going to get this all melted together and get this into a nice symmetrical shape. I'm also trying to get the heat just right. A good percentage of what we're doing when we're blowing glass is controlling the heat. Alright. Same thing you saw before. I'm going to blow some air in. Cap the pipe while I was blowing. Cross your fingers. There it goes. So when you're working with color, you can't see the bubble as nicely as you could in clear glass. So what we're looking for is the mass of glass bulging out. That lets us know that it has a bubble in it. Alright. Now we're going to do the most complicated thing we're going to be doing tonight. We wait. So this isn't quite enough glass to do what I'm going to be trying, what I need to do. So I'm going to let this cool down, and I'm going to go back into the furnace and get another coat of clear glass. And every piece of hand-blown glass you see pretty much begins this way. It starts as just one small bubble. So if it's a little tiny goblet, that may be all the glass they need. But if it's something like Dante Marione's 4-foot-tall Whopper vases, he probably has to go back into that furnace 6 times just to get the amount of glass he needs. I take this time to go ahead and get things situated at my tool bench. It's also a good time to start up conversation. So, anybody see any good movies lately? I haven't been to the movies in a long time, but I saw a trailer for this one, The Disaster Artist, that I really want to see. I think it's coming out next year. So I'm not sure how scientific that is. I just check the temperature with my hand, kind of like estimating how hot a grill is by holding your hand over. I figure if I could hold it there for about 3 to 5 seconds without being like, ah, then it's about right. If I gather with it too hot, what will happen is the whole mass will just be too floppy and I can't control it. All right, I think we're good. So, gather. So yes, the pipes do get warm while we're working. So I'm going to use the nice water feature of the shop to cool it down. This is a battery operated pump with a reservoir of water. To have the most control, I want to be able to grip the pipe as far forward as possible. Alright, so I got a tool in my hand called a block. It's made out of wood, it's basically a big wooden spoon, and we keep them soaked in water at all times. And I'm using it to just get the glass into a nice symmetrical shape. You see I have to frequently re-dip in the water to keep it wet. As long as it stays wet, the wood doesn't burn up and it'll last a long time.
Have you ever burned any bones?
What?
Have you ever burned any bones with wood?
Have I burned any of these? Maybe a little. I always joke too that in the hands of a professional they'll last years, in the hands of beginners they'll last about 3 months. But a neat little thing, if you want to look up some physics stuff, called the Leidenfrost effect. Basically, the water instantly vaporizes, forming a protective barrier of steam, keeping the wood from burning. But that has limits. It'll only last a few seconds. If you guys have ever put water droplets on a really hot skillet and seen them dance around, that's the Leidenfrost effect in action. All right, so I got a nice symmetrical shape. Yeah, that black pad that's sitting on my tool bench, that's my upgraded wet newspaper. Many months ago, I finally, I've seen these for sale for a long time, and I finally splurged and got one. It's a carbon fiber cover that goes over the newspaper. So there's a newspaper in there. I don't know why I held out so long, but carbon fiber cover is wonderful.
Now, Mike, do you plug down that tube?
Yes. Actually, Dennis will be doing it tonight.
What? You did it on?
All right, Dennis, can you get ready to blow in a moment?
Oh.
So, we were just talking about it. This is basically a newspaper pad. And I'm using it to control the shape and once again, also control the heat. Go ahead and blow lightly, Dennis. A little harder. All right, that's good, right there. Thank you, sir. So I actually need to open this up. I'm going to do what is kind of, if any of you have seen glass blowing before, this seems a little odd. But we're going to be joining up another cup to this that'll become the bottom half. This is just the top half. So what I'm doing is I'm just isolating the heat to the very front, a very small spot. I think you can see some of those white swirls starting to come out now. Alright, so I'm going to take my tweezers and start spreading the glass. So I'm basically pressing in that hot spot and opening the tweezers while pressed in. That just stretches the glass out, thinning it out. Dennis, can you go ahead and blow light? Oh, it's open. That's a record. Usually it takes about 2 or 3 times to get it open, but I got a hole in there. So when we're working, we only have, I'd say 30 seconds to a minute at most of working time before the piece gets too cool. And that's when we'll have to come back here. So you'll see me back at this thing a lot, reheating the piece. You also notice I don't always heat the whole thing. Sometimes I'll just be heating the front. But we do have to keep the entire piece warm while we're working. So you will see me go in and do what we call a flash. All right, I gotta get this whole thing open. So I'm using these are called jacks. They're kind of the multi-tool in the glass world. To spread open the glass. And I had calipers set to the diameter of the other cup. I'm about a ½ inch off. Because I got to match the diameter. We're going to join the 2 cups together. Dennis, can you get ready to paddle in a moment? Might have accidentally spun it out over. Yeah, I'm only about an 1/8 inch off. Go ahead and paddle fairly aggressively. I need to get a nice crisp crisp front edge. All right, that's pretty good. Shrunk it down accidentally. I'm about a quarter inch too small. So I've heard that the Italians, when they do this, they don't measure. They're just that good.
Michael, you're the same. You're that good. You're not measuring.
You're fantastic. Thank you.
So, quiz time. You've been here for a demo before, you're not allowed to answer. You've heard this. So, how long has glass been used as a material by man? Scream it out. No answers. Somebody say
5,000 years back.
Maybe. You say 1600s? A little farther back than that. 1492, Columbus blew the ocean. No, that doesn't work. The answer is, again, we don't know exactly, but we've narrowed it down pretty much to basically about 2,000 years. Okay, that's pretty good. So Dennis, I need to just crisp up that front edge. We're not exactly sure, but estimates about 50 to 100 BC is when they first started blowing glass. It's credited with being under the Roman Empire, but really it was probably under at Egypt or Syria or Alexandria, somewhere around there. But by that point, all that was under the Roman Empire. So we're going to pass this. Fairly aggressively. All right, let's take the one last measurement check. I shrunk it down again. So say you want to see a really elated person, watch somebody blowing glass when it's going well. You want to see a really frustrated person, watch somebody blowing glass when it's not. All right, we're good. So Dennis, I need to cool down. You can probably give it a good long flash and then start reseating the lid. I got to be careful not to overheat because I cannot change the diameter of my heat. They have to match perfectly. Dennis, I'm going to say we'll probably be good in a few moments. I think after your next flash. You want to hit the glow starting at the lid. That's about it. Let's do it. Okay, so Dennis is bringing over the piece. Okay, straight it first. Okay, now lower your back end. Okay, raise your back end. Oh, that was perfect. Break off the honey rod. Now, the longest heat in the history of heats. I just realized I used the wrong pipe. I used a slightly larger pipe, but I forgot. I just grabbed one of the normal school pipes. So what's fun is, you don't have to limit that to 2 cups. We could have done 5 cups. I could open up the end of that other cup we just attached, add another one, and so on and so forth. So you guys game? You want to be here till 10 o'clock? We can do it. So now we got a really odd heat thing going on because where we just joined up is the hottest part, the middle where the lips connected. And I kind of want to even that heat out. So I'm going to have to do a lot of heating back and forth to make sure, hey, it's melted together, but also just to get the heat. Oh, wow, I hear that foot. That's still cold. Still like 1,000. So I'm using the Marver A to kind of alter the shape a little bit, but mostly I'm trying to get that heat profile just right. A little eccentric there, I'll fix it. Somebody wash my hand? Oh, how hot is it? Oh, not at all. Oh, trust me, if the pipe was getting warm or something, I'd be at that pipe cooler in an instant. Something I always emphasize to students, don't work for heat, you know, common sense. No piece of glass is worth burning yourself over. Alright, I'm almost happy with that heat. Alright, that's good, thanks, sir. One quick thing, I forgot to bring my big jacks out. There's my suitcase. Thank you. Yeah, we'll try to jackline next time. Can you go ahead and preheat and wax those? So what I've been doing is a lot of back and forth because we got to put in a constriction called a jackline. So we can only make this piece about halfway on the blowpipe, and then we have to break it off onto a temporary rod called a putty. You'll see that. But we need an area that we can break it off at. So Dennis is preheating my jacks and applying wax to them. The jacks get lubricated with beeswax. If they didn't have beeswax on it, they would make the most awful screeching sound. It is the worst thing in the world. I would say it's worse than the fingernails on chalkboard sound. Also, it smells nice. You gotta enjoy these little sensations. All right, then we're getting this nice and toasty. If you could be ready to handle it at the bench for me. All right, you got that? Okay. So Dennis is rotating for me while I cut in a constriction. I actually really needed a hair more heat. Here, can you blow for me? Actually, let me reheat and you can blow for me ever so slightly. I didn't realize it. I was holding the back stroke into it, so we got that wavy line thing. It was fine. Oh, the cold air probably isn't a problem. If there was a breeze, that might be. Okay, go ahead and blow lightly, sir. A little harder. Oh man, I should have done this in red and white. What was I thinking? It could have been a Pokeball. Next time. Next time. good right there. Practically done on the blowpipe. I need to put a bottom in it, otherwise it would just roll around. But I don't know, how do you guys feel about vessels that don't sit, that kind of wobble? It really does kind of call into question the meaning of a vessel and its purpose in our society. That's what happens when you go to art school. More light around the globe, sir? All right, so we're pretty much done with the shaping. Bowls in particular get made quite a bit on the punty side. So we're gonna let this cool off. We're gonna flatten the bottom. So this piece is being made bottom side first. It will sit like that when we're done. All right, I'll go ahead and start heating to the bottom. Would you believe that's only the second Incomo I've done in about 3 years? I haven't done them in a while. I should do more, they're fun. Next time I'll join a clear cup to a clear cup, because it serves no purpose whatsoever, which makes it awesome. So you can see I'm not heating the whole piece, I'm heating just the very tip. Because I don't want to change the shape of the rest of it. I just want to change the shape of that tip and flatten it a little, make a nice bottom that it'll sit on. So, you want to get ready with the paddle Dennis? I think we got enough heat. I can't actually see. Yeah, let's shoot for about a 3-inch bottom. Go ahead. A little harder. I'm just concerned about finding the fire. Get a little more. Since we have the cold working equipment now, I'm not as concerned about sucking the bottom in. I'll just grind it. All right. Yeah. I'm doing it out of habit. All right. So Dennis is going to make a punty. So a punty is a temporary one gather on the counterweight one. Dennis grabbed a punty, he's making a punty, and then we're going to punty the piece. It's like the word barbecue. You know, hey, I'm having a barbecue this weekend, I'm going to fire up the barbecue and make some barbecue. So remember, I need about a 1/2 inch or so off the end of the pipe. Hey, you just made a donut punty, cool. That actually is a real type of punty. We'll use it, Dennis. It actually has stronger holding pattern. Okay, quick flash. Let me go ahead and come out. We're tight. And just a quick flash. All right.
Why did you need the table?
Hold on a second. So we're doing a type of punny called a sculpture punny, sometimes called a cheer punny. It's intentionally fused onto the bottom. Usually a punty is meant to be a weak joint that's strong enough to hold the piece, but will break off cleanly. I don't want to take any risks, so we're just fusing the darn thing on. It'll leave a patty of glass, but I don't care. I can grind it up. How are you feeling still, Lucy? What? Oh, you ready then? I can't find my tool. We got my tool, that's it. That's just a mess. So, on that jack line, I'm putting some water, and if all goes right, it breaks right off. If it was too cold, there's always a risk of it cracking when it goes back in. this is one of those moments where you're always like, thank you, sir. Now you notice me and Dennis are working as a team tonight. That is something that was really revolutionized by the Italians in around the 14th century. Prior to that, glass blowers generally worked by themselves. But the Italians figured out, hey, if we work as a team, we can make much more complex work. So the way us Americans, when we kind of revitalized glasses at our media in the 1960s, the way we started doing it, well actually when they first started doing it was every man for himself, when everybody worked by themselves. But then in the 70s, the Italians showed us the proper way to do it. So team. Home. I tried to tell you how my family's doing, but I don't know if you have 12 hours. Anybody hear any good jokes lately? Jokes and hot. Almost too hot. So I'm getting things evened up a little bit. This is a tool called a Soffietta. It's basically a hollow metal tube with a cone on the end. It basically allows me to blow while I'm on the blowpipe. Putty. I can press that cone into the opening and blow, and as long as I got it sealed with the cone, I can inflate it with air. All right. Just a few moments till the fun begins. So I'm just taking some time to get the setup just right. I know it doesn't look like much is getting done, but I'm actually getting the heat just right. I'm having to build it up towards the back, and to do that, since it heats the front first, I have to heat and then cool the front. I'm going to go ahead and open it about halfway with the jacks. I love using the jacks, it is fun. I'm going to cheat a little. Is it really cheating, or is it just taking advantage of technology? I was using the air, the compressed air, to cool in the back, because I kind of... I may do one more round of heating just to be safe. Patience. All right, next time, I promise. Yeah, Dennis, we're just going to take it off. I don't think I'll fit. Let that set up. Sorry guys, normally I would give you like a little do a flash and all that, but I will not fit back in there. So we just got to get it off now and into the kiln. All right.